Hey everybody, I'm James,
And I'm Justin,
and this is
the
the
Disc
Disc
Golf
Golf
Collective.
Collective. How you doing today, Justin?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing absolutely fabulous, and I think I'm doing the best because like we finally are starting our disc golf podcast,
Right,
and
exactly.
we've been thinking about this for a long time now, and I've been investing a ton of money into it, and I'm really glad that it's finally getting off the
Yeah,
ground.
here we are.
Here we are. Yep. And
Many conversations about it, and here we are.
here we
Kind
are.
of hard to believe, but
It is, and I'm super excited because I feel like this area needs some growth in the sport, and I think this is a perfect platform to try to grow it and help it out. And I think let's just go over a few of the things that we want to do in this podcast so people have an idea of what we're planning on.
no,
And
and like you said, definitely number one thing is the whole point of this podcast is to introduce, educate, new disc golfers, people new to the sport, even give them recommendations on courses local if they live local to us,
yeah,
and just open up that community and grow the sport.
yeah, yeah, give them ideas on like where to find courses, maybe tournaments they can play in that are
Exactly.
beginner friendly
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Something else I'd really love to do is like review a lot of the local courses and not necessarily bash them, but maybe give people that are designing or keeping them up or whatever, maybe give them some ideas on what they can do to make them a little better.
Right.
And anyone out there that wants to send in any footage, any disc golf footage, especially if it's funny, please send it in. We'd love that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we will definitely share your footage, and we also plan to like show plenty of footage of the local courses and any courses that we play in the next, the near future or whatever. And
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely working on trying to get some drone footage, some shots while we're playing the round, down, from the view that you're going to be looking at, and pictures, things like that, just to kind of help you see the course, see how it's laid out, and things like that. So
yeah, yeah, I agree. And hopefully maybe we can grow the sport by running some tournaments, under the disc golf collective name and stuff like that. I definitely plan on doing that.
oh yeah,
I maybe have some work parties under the disc golf collective name and just really try to make the sport. I think the sport is very hidden here. It's there's like it's in the woods most of the times. It seems like one of the biggest things that I've tried to do when building the courses that I've helped design around here is to put a basket, in view of a main road, or whatever,
right,
so that people at least see the basket and wonder like, huh, what's that,
right.
and I think it's definitely helped grow the sport in that way. I think that's a pretty important thing, when building a disc golf course,
Oh
that you
yeah,
make it visible as
and
much as
it always
possible.
helps too, because like if you're out playing around where you're at a place where there's people like riding bikes or walking a path or something, that's never seen it before, they always stop and ask, hey, like what is this?
Yeah,
What are you doing?
yeah,
And that makes me feel good because then it's like you can explain to them like what the sport is and like how it works and stuff like that. And sometimes you get people that's interested and want to start playing the sport, and other people they just kind of, oh well, that's pretty cool, and I'm sure they go and talk about it with their friends and stuff. But like you said, it's one of those situations, out of sight, out of mind. If you don't see it, you're not going to know, you're not going to ask about it, and most people are going to be curious and ask questions.
yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think one of the comments I've gotten about the baskets is, "Are those deer feeders?" And when I look at them, I'm like, "Hey, that makes sense," because I've seen some like horse feeders when I was a kid. I grew or was raised on a farm and rode horses quite a bit, and they kind of look like a horse feeder. So
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, that makes sense," but
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you'd need to throw some salt in
It's
it.
a salt lick holder.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember some of the other things I've heard them called, or like people wondered what they were, and some of the things they've come up with have been quite hilarious,
Oh yeah,
actually.
I'm sure.
But yeah, when you see some, a basket and some chains, and you know there's a disc golf course around, and
Yep.
I'm sure we'll share plenty of pictures of courses and baskets and people throwing, and at some point I hope that we can maybe put a little tutorial on how to
Yeah.
throw,
Yeah.
and a couple videos on that, and yeah, I think we're just really excited to get this thing on the air, and yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. I'm like
Right.
nervous as hell.
But
I'm cutting this out.
yeah. But no, it's like you said, it's one of those situations where most people don't know about it. It's not it's a national sport. There is pros and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's not well known. And the only way you're gonna know is if you get online and do the research. That's the
yeah.
only way you're gonna know. But
Or
that's
watch
what
our
we're
podcast.
or watch our podcast because
That's
that's
right.
what we're trying to do. We're trying
Yeah,
to get this out there and get the word out for people to watch and learn and like you said, do some tutorial videos about form and
yeah,
everything like that because it's all part of the sport.
yeah. I realized today that I was playing with Jacob Cook out at Gold Star Park, and there's a number of places you can get in trouble. And when you're in trouble in disc golf, you find yourself having to reach out, behind a bush or under, your legs sticking under a bush, and you're trying to reach out as far as you can, and you find that that is the time that every throw becomes important. And I watched him struggle because he doesn't know every throw, and
Right.
so something that I would love to share as well is like just all the different types of throws, even if we just show a video of different shots.
Right.
With the I mean, there's so many different lines you can throw. A hyzer, and the hyzer usually, if you're right-handed backhand, it's going to start out to the right and come back to the left. Um, if it's an anhyzer, it's usually going to, if it's a backhand right hand again, because that's what both of us are,
Yeah.
it's going to, start out to the right and hopefully come back to the left or stay on that right line.
Yeah. And
There's just so many different throws,
right, because your different throws get broke out when you're forced to throw that or
Yeah.
like scramble game, like you
Yeah.
said. You get off in the woods and stuff. You're gonna have to utilize the scramble game, and I'm been doing this for a few years, and I still don't have some of the scramble shots down. I need to practice some more, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I think I found that for a few years I kept focusing on like practicing drives and putts because it seemed like the most important part, and what I lost was the upshot. And then for the years that I didn't have a good upshot, like I don't know that my well, obviously this year my um, rating has gone down, so I definitely have lost the upshot, and I realized this year just how important the upshot is.
right,
It's the last shot before you putt, and if you
right,
don't lay it up well, you're going to be putting a long ways, and that's not fun,
no,
especially in a
no.
tournament.
That's
Yeah.
definitely a good choice to play Gold Star today, then, because that's mostly
Oh,
upshots.
yeah. It was all up shots. It was super windy out, and it was raining. We didn't want to, walk real far. We wanted to make sure we could get back to the car if it started downpouring on us and all
Right.
that. We actually thought about going to Forked Run, changed our minds, and stayed close by and a little safer probably because that
Right.
wind was wicked.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, I know. On hole 9 at Gold Star, I threw a forehand, and it was beautiful right out of my hand. And I thought it was going in. It tickled the chains, and it's the best throw I've had on that hole. I thought the second I let go, it's going in the basket. And when it tickled the chains, I heard them. I was so disappointed. I almost cried. I even told Jacob before I threw it. I was just like, "Yep, this one's going in," and it tried. It tried really hard, but it didn't catch nearly enough change. Just barely tickled him. But yeah, it was fun, and I think something else that I hope we can show down the road. After playing today with someone who's a little newer, probably hasn't played in the wind a lot. I've played in the wind a ton. I actually even like to purposely go out and play in the wind because
Right.
like super strong winds because that'll really teach you what a strong wind does, and then when you're in a little bit more mild wind, it doesn't affect you as much, and you're a little more confident because you've played in that super hard
Right.
wind.
And then that's where you come in, and you'll start to learn your ratings on your discs, like what they mean, and
Yeah,
compared from stable to understable, things like that, because there's certain things like in the wind and things like that that you want to throw, a certain disc.
I agree. I agree. And yeah, and then I don't know. I think one of my favorite things about playing with a lot of different people on courses is that you learn all these different lines. I know there's been some courses where I look down the fairway and I'm like, there's not even a line here. And then someone steps up before me, they throw it, and they're like, they find this beautiful line that's just super easy. And you're like, wow, I didn't even see that, and that's helped me on so many courses, and a lot of times we call it, the local line,
Yeah.
and just meaning that that person's played it a whole bunch of times and they
Or
figured out a little spot that no one else knows about or whatever.
or you can be like me and just shank it and accidentally find the line.
That happens too. That happens too, for sure. And I think those lines are way harder to hit though when you do it on purpose. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
As opposed to that local guy who, like, he's like, oh, they're, these the sticks in this, line or whatever, they're not going to knock your disc down or whatever, and they throw it right through a bush, and you're like, that I didn't even see that. I didn't know that was possible.
Right.
And but yeah, I think we just want to share as much as we can to help as many people as we can get into the
Exactly.
sport, learn more about the sport, advance in the sport. Um, if there's anybody out there that's trying to go pro and they need some, some sponsorships, we're more than willing to put your name out there, and
Right.
maybe people will recognize you. If you got footage, let us know. We'll be happy to share that. Um, yeah, we're just
It's
here
all
to
about.
share, here to grow.
Yep. It's all about growth,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
learning, and you know, and basically, even with these courses, it's all community
Yeah,
community related, because there's a lot of people that play the sport, and when you go to these tournaments and stuff and you meet new people, it's almost like family. It's one big huge community that's all laid back, have fun, learn new things, meet new people, and that's what it's all about, and growing the sport.
I agree. I agree. And yeah, we have, so much room to help disc golf here because it seems like it's really just getting off the ground, really.
Yeah.
And and yeah, like I said, I'm excited. I can't wait to see where this goes.
I can't either,
Me
but
either.
all I know is it's a surreal feeling, but I'm ready.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So surreal that I barely even know what to say.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard to come up with the words.
it is. Hopefully, we keep you guys interested. Um, keep watching. We got a lot to show you.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, thanks for listening this time. We'll talk to you soon. Next week, hopefully.
Yeah. Next week.
Later, guys.